universe. Welcome back to another episode of the Yankees Morning Brew on this Thursday, June 27th. Like always, I'm your guy Hector, hanging out with my compadres this morning. I got the fly guy Damian Serrano, and I got the lovely Grace Monroe. And all you Yankee fans, wake up and get your coffee. Grace, how you feeling this morning?
Heck, I love that you gave me the wake up and get your coffee. We need to bring it back every day. I love that opening.
Yeah, we bring it back.
We're bringing it back. Okay, you're bringing it back. I love it. I got some good things to say, y'all. It is a beautiful day. The Yankees are still in first place. We have some accountability on the team. Verdugo got 2 hits last night. And Aaron Judge is an actual living legend. Okay, so let's go. Let's get your coffee. Yeah. Let's talk some ball.
Yeah, we definitely got to get into it. Shout out to the chat. Damian Serrano, the fly guy. How you feeling this morning, Dame?
Good morning, everybody. Listen, I'm off camera right now because I'm hiding my tears after the last couple of days. Good morning, everybody. Hector, Grace, the chat, good morning. Listen, we got a lot to talk about. Yankees baseball. We're going through a spiral. They're giving us a lot. They're keeping the content alive, man, aren't they? So let's go.
Yes, indeed. And for everybody that's in the building, if you guys don't mind, please hit that like button and hit that subscribe button. And if you're watching us on any other platform like Instagram, Facebook, or the former the Elon Musk machine, formerly known as Twitter, click the link in the bio and come jump over and join the conversation over here on YouTube. Shout out to my guy Empire Sports Media in the building. Listen, I know why you here, bro. I know why you're here. I know you're a Met fan, and I know why you're here, bro. So I'm here to say salute to you. You guys took the 2 games that we met up for the first round of the Subway Series, but there's two more games that's left, baby. So keep that same energy. Did you have fun? I didn't go to Queens, right? So I missed it, right? So I'm glad that I didn't go out there. Shout out to the Yankee fans that showed up to Citi Field. But honestly, I know you've been waiting for this. Shout out to my mom, who's a diehard Met fan, and she's been texting me like crazy over the past couple of days, not only because I'm her son and she misses me, but because the Mets won and she has some trash talking to do. Shout out Anna Marie in the building. Salute to Anna Marie. Our Uncle Theo Double A is in the building. My guy Jigga Man Portal, the #1 producer out there on the YouTube and live streams. Eunice is in the building. Carlos Ortiz is in the building. Mets 2128 is in the building. My friend Corin is in the building. Erica Garcia, how you doing? Big Time Lou is in the building. And of course, we got Grace Monroe in the chat and Grace Monroe on the panel. Grace, I got to ask you, right? And shout out to my guy, Juan Soto, who's in the building as well. I want to ask you, Grace, do you have any Met fans that are in your life?
No.
Okay, lucky you. Lucky that the Met fans aren't in Texas, but you know, shout out to the New York Mets. You know, I know we're Yankee fans here, and I know it could be doom and gloom, but shout out to the Mets for stepping up and beating us, right? In Major League Baseball, every team deals with injuries, so there's no excuse to make. Over the last 2 days, the New York Mets were the better team when it comes to the offense and when it comes to their pitching. Yesterday, the New York Yankees, we left 9 guys on base. We hit into about, I think, like 5 double plays early into the game as well. So the Mets showed up. They got their hits with runners in scoring position. They drove runs in, and their pitching shut us down. No excuses need to be made. There should be no excuses Yankee fans should have right now saying this person is injured. This person just came back from a rehab stint. Regardless, the Mets are dealing with injuries right now, right? So they can have that same type of argument if they lost those games, but they didn't lose those games. They showed up and they beat us. Go ahead, Grace.
The first game, I felt like, what's going on? You know, Cole was giving up so much he doesn't usually give up. He didn't throw a single strikeout, which is extremely not like him. And I know he's recovering and he's basically going through his spring. So it wasn't like freak out chaos, but it was like, I felt like the Yankees really kind of beat themselves a lot in the first game. Although the Mets played really well, but I didn't have high hopes for the Mets, right? No offense. But then the second game, I was like, wait a minute. Are the Mets good? Wait, no disrespect. No disrespect. I really mean it. Like, you can't say like, we beat ourselves both games. Like, we didn't play well, fact. However, their game plan worked. Give them the credit, give Carlos Mendoza the credit, or, you know, everybody on the staff. They had a game plan, they executed it, and it worked. And the second game, I started to think, I think he was joking by saying 5, and sadly, he wasn't that far off. 3 double plays is ridiculous. But the second loss, I was like, wait a minute, are the Mets actually good? So I agree with what you're saying, Hector. You can't just write it off and be like, oh, we lost so bad, blah, blah, blah. The Mets actually, you know, they came to play, and they took this round, but yeah.
Yeah, you had some revenge tours. Harrison Bader, shout out to Harrison Bader.
Yeah.
Harrison Badar, he showed up over the past couple of games. Listen, the New York Mets, they had 3 home runs yesterday. They had 12 hits altogether. The New York Yankees, they only was able to get 6 hits. So the Mets doubled them on hits right there. Shout out to the Met fans who was in the building. My guy, Quiet Money, who was in the building. You guys know me, right? I'm a diehard Yankee fan, but I'm objective as well. I could read things and I could point it down the middle. Damien, I want to toss it over to you, brother. Let's get your take. Go ahead, Dame.
Man, it was a tough go. Listen, the better team won. The Yankees had Volpe, Judge, Soto. That's it. After that, it was the who's who. JD Davis sitting at cleanup. Gleyber Torres doing what he does. You know, it's unfortunate, but the Yankees are a complete dysfunction right now from top to bottom, whether it's pitching, bullpen. Obviously, the offense is just abysmal at this point. Cole doesn't look like he was actually ready to come back just yet. Probably could have used a little bit more time down in AAA, AA, whatever not. So, I mean, man, it's the Mets. The Mets, listen, hats off to the Mets. They did what they needed to do. They have a pretty good – if you look at the Mets lineup compared to our lineup, I mean, besides Soto and Judge, they just have a better lineup, hands down, from 1 through 9. So, I mean, what are you going to do? We face 2 lefties. And I'm tired of looking at the bases loaded and getting 0 runs out of every single time we have bases loaded, which is probably about 4 times in this series. And each time we walked away with 0 runs. The double plays were an issue. I mean, the entire team was abysmal other than Soto and Judge. And unfortunately, when you have those 2 at the top, you don't really have to worry about anybody else. You don't have to really pitch to anybody. And the only reason they pitched to them was because they were blowout games. So there we go. It was tough, man. It was really tough to watch.
And you saw that in the first game, right? That first inning against David Peterson, the Yankees had the bases loaded with nobody out. Gleyber Torres struck out. Verdugo struck out. The New York Yankees third baseman that's going to save the season, JD Davis, struck out. Obviously, I'm kidding when it comes to that take on JD Davis, but you saw it. If it's not anyone named Juan Soto or Aaron Judge or even Anthony Volpe, nobody's going to pitch to them, right? Teams are going to pitch to DJ LeMahieu. Teams are going to pitch to Jose Trevino, to Austin Wells. At the moment, Alex Verdugo, he got those 2 hits. Hopefully, he starts to turn things around because he had a 10-game stretch that he was god awful, right? So hopefully, this is just a week that the Yankees, they caught a hiccup. Right? You're never going to be perfect through 162 games. You're going to have your falls. You're going to have those days where you're just struggling. That is going to happen. That's why it's important to win the games in April, to win the games in May. That way you could build yourself a league like the Yankees have in the AL East so you could stumble at the end of June going into July.
Yeah. I wrote down that Verdugo, since his big game in Fenway, he went 4 for 30. This is including last night. He's gone 4 for 37. And 2 of those were from last night. 2 of those were from last night. Okay. So he was batting 61 in that stretch before last night. He raised it to 108 in that stretch, including last night. But I have hopes that Verdugo's coming out of his slump. I think that he was looking better last night, even his first at bat where he did ground into a double play. But it looked better. And then sure enough, later in the game, he did get 2 hits. He tried to bunt. He just tried to get something going. I believe in Verdugo. I believe that he will come back. He's still playing great defense in left, thank God. But I hope that he comes back because he's such a huge part of the middle of our order. And whether he bats cleanup or even fifth or wherever they put him, we got to have him back. We have to have him back. Have to. We got to get him going. And I don't want to see them bench Cabrera again. I don't care.
No.
He needs to be starting. Period.
Yeah.
I don't care if he's playing second or third. That man needs to be in the lineup every day. He started going. Last night he had an extra base hit. When's the last time you saw an extra base hit from anyone on the team besides Soto, Judge, and Volpe? Anyone.
Yeah. Yeah. And
I was like, Cabrera needs to be there. Go ahead. Sorry.
But no, it's all good. I just wanted to add on to your point, and you can keep cooking. And when it comes to Cabrera and Volpe, and you can put Jahmai Jones in it, but he rarely plays. They're the only ones that bust it down the line. Yeah. They're the only ones that bust and run down the line. And you guys know, we all grew up watching Derek Jeter, right? And Derek Jeter will always preach and always say, listen, as a baseball player, you get paid millions of dollars to play a children's game. And they only ask you 4 times to bust down that first baseline. And on this squad, Anthony Volpe and Oswaldo Cabrera are the only players that can do that. Shout out to my guy, Anthony Rivera from the Subway to Shade podcast. And I send the link in our group chat. If you want to jump up and come bash us Yankee fans for the next few seconds, for the next few minutes, you're more than welcome to do that. My guy, Razil the Great, is in the building. Razil, how you doing? Razil said, did you guys smack that like button? Smack the like button, hit the subscribe button. We are on our way to 5K subscribers. We are almost at 4,400. We're at 400. We're at 4,370 something. So smack the like button. Help us on our way to 5K. You get your invite. I'll put the open link panel in the chat, and don't worry, you get to come up and you get to bash us as well. Erica Garcia says, agree. Cabrera needs to be in this lineup over DJ or Torres. He isn't the savior, but he adds positive mindset and grit. Gleyber is down bad at the moment. DJ LeMahieu making bonehead errors. Can't have that right now. Erica Garcia, you hit it right on the head. And before we highlight Gleyber and DJ and anybody else, we got to talk about one thing, right? And that is the Yankees. We still have time to clean things up, but it needs to happen now, and it needs to happen ASAP. Now, there was somebody that put a chat, my guy Ness, he put this in the chat, and I want to have this conversation. The truth is that Cashman is mediocre at best. Roster construction, and Boone can't manage a garage sale. This is not the organization we rooted for. They that cared about their players. Feelings not winning. Sad. Ness, I got a lot that's going on in this tweet, so we're going to try to break it down. And again, as someone who's a content creator, the number one rule I have here is that I'm not going to tell Ness how to be a Yankee fan. I'm not going to tell Richie Martinez, Rodney, Empire State of Media, how to be a fan. We don't tell you guys how to be a fan. You get to be your own type of fan. But the one thing I'm going to say is we're going to have a conversation about it. And when it comes to Brian Cashman, I've been screaming so far, and Brian Cashman I trust. But if he doesn't fix the errors, or if he doesn't fix the issues we have, I'm not going to be singing that same tune. Grace, what's your thoughts real quick?
I mean, I agree. I hear you. I love the Yankees. I want to win. When I get upset, I want to blame somebody, right? Because I can't do anything, right? I'm sitting here in my house watching the game. I can't do anything, right? So I have, frustration and anger. I want to put it somewhere. A lot of times that person that gets the frustration and anger is Brian Cashman. Mm-hmm. That's his job, He's the one who can do something. So you look to him to do something. I think that it's harder than you think to do something like that. I mean, what do you do like that? There is no quick solution to this, and you can't go out there and overreact and then pay for that later. You'll get crucified later. You get crucified now, you get crucified later. It's a thankless job. But what do? You try to trade for somebody, then you have to trade away prospects. But everybody's crying, don't trade away the prospects. Okay, then what the fuck is he supposed to do? Go out there and sign somebody off DFA? He did that. Y'all still complaining. You want him to, DFA our players. Who's going to play who's going to play in that spot? Who?
Yeah.
I'm asking you who. Like, I literally, what do you expect him to do? Literally.
Yeah.
I mean, if you were talking about the trade deadline, you can't force another team to trade a player.
Yeah.
They have to want to trade that player. Then they can make terms that then Brian Cashman has to say, yes, we're willing to do this, or no, we're not willing to do this. Like, I feel like he wants to do something, and I feel like he will do something. What that something is way above my pay grade, although I'm mad too, and I have frustrations too, okay?
Yeah.
But like, this is where we are right now. We need Verdugo to start this is what we need to happen, okay? We need Verdugo to keep hitting. He started last night. We need him to keep hitting. We need DJ to keep hitting. If all he can do is good, not great defense and hit singles, then for the love of God, that's what we need him to do, okay?
Yeah.
Then put him in a place in the lineup where he can just hit singles or work a walk. If that's all he can do, then that's all he can do, okay? Keep Cabrera in. Let Ben Rice stay in. Like, we have to figure out a way forward with the players we have for now until a opportunity becomes available to make the team better. But until then, just crying into the ether about, this is Cashman's fault and blah, blah, blah. It doesn't help anything,
Yeah.
And look at, I'm sorry. Go, I'm done.
No, it's fine. And I get it, because I share the same frustrations like you, Grace, and I share the same frustrations as some Yankee fans that's out there. But to your point, right? Yankee fans, newsflash. Teams aren't out there trying to help the Yankees win a championship. That's not the goal in Major League Baseball. If you're a team that's struggling, on the top of your head, when it comes to priorities, your number one priority isn't helping the New York Yankees win a championship. So you're not going to try to trade your best pieces to the Yankees for some scraps, right? So when it comes down to it, Brian Cashman needs to have a phenomenal trade deadline. And I get it. Some fans out there, they do not have the faith in him. When I look at this roster, yes, we could blame Cashman for the roster construction, right? That's true. But I don't blame Brian Cashman because Anthony Rizzo got a concussion last year and fractured his arm this year. How can I blame Cashman for that? I can't blame Cashman for DJ LeMahieu getting old and getting bad real fast. I can't blame him for that. I could criticize him for giving him that contract extension or signing him after that phenomenal season. Yeah, but 90% of Yankee fans wanted DJ LeMahieu to come back after winning a batting title. And if you're saying you didn't want DJ LeMahieu to come back, you're lying through your teeth, or you're lying through that little gap that's right in the middle of your two front teeth, right? So stop it. I get it. Yes, is the Giancarlo Stanton contract horrible? Absolutely. It definitely is horrible. He is not a $30 million player anymore. He's not that MVP candidate he was with the Miami Marlins. But look at the output that he gave us this season. He was our fourth or arguably our third best hitter. Him and Volpe, you could tie them up. But after Soto, after Judge, Giancarlo Stanton was spot on and on the money. Damian, I want to get your takes real quick before I go over to the Super Chats. And shout out to Double A and shout out to my guys with the Super Chats. Appreciate you guys. Go ahead, Dame.
Man, obviously, listen, a lot of this isn't Cashman's fault. But, to quote what he said in the offseason, I think we're pretty effing good. But now you got to back it up. So, and if any time to back it up, it's now with the debacle that we have going on. So, listen, as far as the bullpen, I don't really stress the bullpen. They've always had the last 10 years or so, they figured out how to work out the bullpen. As per usual, our Achilles heel this year, again, is the offense. I think starting pitching will, come around. They're going to do their thing. But it's the offense, and it's time for Cashman to figure it out. In the meantime, they need to play some of the youth right now. Consistently played Ben Rice, play Oswaldo. Negativity spreads like cancer, right? So you look at Gleyber Torres' face in the bullpen last night.
Oh,
I mean, you would think that doing what he's done so far, that you would go around to your teammates and at least try to perk him up, be the positive guy on the bench. And that last night, it looked like he lost a close family member. So there's a lot of negative going around right now in that Yankee clubhouse. I'm sure of it, just in body language alone, and that could weigh down a team. So in the meantime, play your youth. You know, you have
Yeah.
nothing better. You have no. There's no. Let me rephrase this. Let me think of what it says. You have no. There's no way of losing any more than what you've lost already by playing Oswaldo Cabrera, by playing Ben Rice, by maybe, you know, bringing up a Jack Neely from AAA. You know, play some of these guys. Listen, Hal Steinbrenner hinted at it during his press conference talking about, you know, the money situation. Well, he pretty much said that next year a lot of our youth is going to play. You might as well let some of them play right now, because what you have going on between DJ and Gleyber and some other guys like Jahmai Jones. Why is Jahmai Jones DHing? Explain that one to me.
Big
Boom.
facts.
I would really want to know why he's DHing when you have Oswaldo Cabrera, who has quadruple the amount of bats as he has this season, sitting on a bench.
Yeah.
Ben Rice, same thing. I mean, who cares? He's hitting a lefty. Listen, he fared well against Max Fried, one of the greatest lefties in MLB right now. Why is he not playing? Why is JD Davis taking at bats from a useful kid that's going to be the future of your organization?
Yes, yes.
So it doesn't make sense to me. So a little bit less. Listen, a little bit that if Boone has control of that lineup, Boone, you got to do a better job when that comes to that. Other than that, you know, you have what's in front of you. You can only do with so much. Something I kind of want to hit on, you know, from last week's show, or actually Tuesday's show, that I really obviously I wasn't here. Listen,
Go ahead.
if there's ever a chance that the New York Yankees can pull off a Vladimir Guerrero trade, listen to me, Vladdy, come home, okay? Because I will take Vladimir Guerrero. He'd be the third best player on this team right here, right now. And listen, we said Marcus Stroman. Everybody hated Stroman. Look at what Stroman is now. We have him with open hands, and we love Stroman, right? Things like that. So listen, why would you not take a Vladdy Guerrero? Because he got on his feelings when he was young? Yeah, absolutely. In the offseason, people were ready to take Trevor Bauer on. Let's be serious. Trevor Bauer, who has issues outside of baseball, who has done things that are absolutely disgusting. You'll take him on, but you won't take Vladimir Guerrero? That blows my mind. So listen, do I think that would ever happen? I don't think the Blue Jays would trade to us, especially a Vladimir Guerrero type. But if it were ever possible, Vladdy, come to the Bronx. I will take you on with open arms, because we all know how Vladdy gets down in the Bronx. He kills us.
Yeah.
So let's go. I'll take him.
Damien!
And that's my take on that.
but also Damien, right? And this is something that I want to bring it up, and I'll toss it over to Grace. And shout out to everybody who's in the building. If you're watching us on Instagram, appreciate you. My guy Eric Paredes, my guy from Citywide when I used to work EMS, he said, we'll bounce back. The hotter team won. That's completely normal in baseball. You can't have 1998 every season. Absolutely. I got my guy E Wiki in the chat as well, who said, we got this. Don't worry. It is a very long season. Absolutely. And if you're watching us on Instagram, click the link in the bio, jump on over to YouTube and join us for the conversation. But this is the one thing I want to ask you guys. And Grace, help me out with this. Folks in the chat, help me out with this. Coming into the season, I thought we all understood and was on the same page when having the conversation that this roster is not complete. Coming into the season, we was having conversations saying we're expecting Brian Cashman to make moves at the trade deadline. Call me crazy, or if I'm not, don't I remember having those conversations? Grace,
Absolutely.
Damien, folks in the chat. Grace, go ahead. Let me know if I'm off base with that.
No, I think you're right. We definitely felt like that. And I think he will make moves. I definitely think he will. And I think, to Damien's point, I think we're going to see some more people called up this year, because we've got a lot of people in our farm system that are just on the edge, whether it's Neely or whoever you want to say. But again, that goes back to my previous point. You can't call up the kids if you trade the kids to go get somebody else right now. And I wrote down a couple points I wanted to say. This is if you walk in, like, let me say you walk in, you like to go buy a car, and you walk onto the car lot and you say, hey, I gotta have a car today. I gotta get a car today. I gotta drive it away from the lot right now. Like, I gotta have a car. What's that salesman gonna do? How's that salesman gonna treat you? He gonna give you a good deal? He gonna work with you on your financing? Is he gonna? No,
No.
I don't think so. I don't
Gonna
think
work
so.
you over.
Exactly, because you smell
Exactly.
like desperation and you're thirsty. Okay, that is how Cashman is probably painted right now. Everybody knows that the Yankees are reeling. Everybody knows that the Yankees have Juan Soto for 1 year and 1 year only guaranteed, and that they're trying to win a championship this year. Everybody knows that Aaron Judge is having another MVP year. Everybody knows. And when they get that phone call today from Brian Cashman, they're going to be asking for the moon, y'all. They're going to be asking for Spencer Jones, Jason Dominguez, and Will Warren. Everybody you can think of, they're going to be asking for it. So you have to give him time. I'm not saying give him months, okay? But give him, it's only been a week, okay? It's only been like a week and a half. We've been having this horrible stretch. I guarantee you he's working on something. We got to give him at least a week, 2 weeks, like give him a little time, because he can't sell us up the river to fix some problem right now. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to say that. And then I wanted to say about what Damian said about Gleyber. Damian was dropping facts. But he did leave me on red last night, so I had to call him out because I sent this text about Gleyber and his face. Sorry, Erica. Sorry, Sierra, my girls in the chat. Don't listen. But I sent this picture of Gleyber to my guys, and I said, he's throwing himself a pity party. And I ask you, this picture, and I'm sorry, listen, I know he's going through something, okay? But I'm not talking about him as a person. Hey, Damian, there's your handsome face.
What up?
It's not about him as a person. It's about him as an athlete on a team that I root for, okay? Is this the face of a man who is determined to get better and help his team win? Or is this the face of a man who is feeling sorry for himself? You don't see Cabrera pouting on the bench. You don't see Jones pouting on the bench. You don't see Grisham pouting on the bench. And this is not a good look. It is selfish. He had selfish at-bats.
Mm-hmm.
He had selfish, lazy defense, trying to be lackadaisical and trying to show off like it's no big deal. And he's being selfish now, sitting over there by himself having a pity party. Now, that's what I said. I said it on the record. That's how I feel. It is not a good look.
No, it's definitely not a good look, especially when he's just looking like his puppy just died, right? Like you said, Grace, that type of attitude can become infectious in a locker room, right? If you're struggling and you're doing bad, you should be out there trying to uplift your teammates. You should be out there trying to figure out how can you still help that team win. Looking at Gleyber Torres, and I don't want to beat up on Gleyber because I've always said this: athletes, they're human beings at the end of the day. But to me, it seemed like he cared more about his individual stats and his individual performance than the team performance. Maybe, I know he's getting benched again today because Boone said he's going to be benched for a couple of games. Maybe today he comes back with a better attitude. Yesterday, embarrassment can hold you down and weigh you down. And maybe this was just somebody who was embarrassed and needed to be embarrassed and needed to have that image circulate on social media so people around him could be like, listen, Papa, this is not good, Gleyber. This is definitely not good. Before I throw it over to Damien, I just want to shout out some of the people that's in the chat. Christopher Cancel is in the building. He said, "Hey guys, Mets. Grace, seems like you underestimated us. Anyway, I hope you guys do well against Toronto. Nice to see you again, Hector." No, I don't think any Yankee fan was underestimating the Mets, because we were saying coming into the Subway Series that the Mets, they're on fire. The Mets are on fire, and the Yankees were not on fire. So that's what happens in Major League Baseball. Now it's 4 series in a row that the New York Yankees have lost. Shout out to my guy Ron from Still Nick Fans, who was in the building. Double A with the $4.99 super chat. Thank you for helping us keep the lights on. Double A. Thank you for always supporting and backing us. He says Cashman can't keep putting spare tires on a Rolls Royce and expect to win a chip. Follow my Knicks lead. Absolutely. Shout out to the Knicks and get him Mikal Bridges. How you doing? Double A again with the $1.99 super chat. how many decades does Cashman get to win a championship? And that's something that Yankee fans were all frustrated with, right? But, and I said this again, right? The issue with the Yankees roster is that half of it got old real fast and it got bad real fast. And what I mean by that is that I don't think anybody saw Gleyber Torres after 2019 hitting 30 plus home runs turning into this player over the next 4 years. I know I didn't see it. I know Grace probably didn't see it. Damian probably didn't see it. Folks in the chat, we all thought that Gleyber Torres and Aaron Judge was going to be faces of the franchise to build around. That's what you thought after that 2019 season from Gleyber Torres. There's this one video that I want to play real quick, and it's very cringy. Right? Go ahead, Grace. Before I play it, I'll let you go. Go ahead, Grace.
Okay, thank you. I wanted to finish my point about Gleyber because I set it
I
all
apologize.
up.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
I thought you finished. I apologize.
No,
sorry,
it's all good. It's all good. So I set it all up with all the Gleyber Torres, right? And him, and you were saying maybe he could change his attitude and come back today. And I sincerely hope that he does. And that's what I want to see. What we need is for Gleyber to get going. That's what we need for him to do. And that's what I want to happen. But if it's not happening and he's pouting and he's being a infectious, negative, like Damian said, maybe a cancer on the team of him, loping around and everything, then what usually happens to him? Nothing. But guess what happened this time? Aaron Boone actually benched him. Paul O'Neill and David Cohn called him out on the broadcast. I couldn't believe my ears.
Yeah.
And then guess what happened? Aaron Boone actually benched him. And he said, quote, "I just feel like he needs it." And then they asked him, "Did you notice him not running it out to first base?" And he said, quote, "That certainly got my attention." And then he benched him. And he's benching him for a couple days, he said. So this is accountability that we have been screaming for years with Boone, with Cashman, with everybody else. We've been screaming to hold these players accountable. There's two ways that you can manage. If anybody in the chat or anybody, in your job has ever been a manager, there's two philosophies you can manage by. One is you're a micromanager, right? You're on your team's ass. If they do anything, you're right there. Hey, do this better. No breaks. Stand up. Do this. Go, do this, that. And you're constantly over managing them. Okay. That's one way. The other way you can manage a team is you can inspire them. You can be their friend to where they love you so much that they want to do well for you. They want to perform for you. That is how Aaron Boone has chosen to lead this squad and how he's done it for years. Now, there comes a point with that manager, if anybody's ever had a manager like that in the past, where something finally happens and that manager loses it. And that manager who's been your friend, who's been your compadre, who's had your back, who, lets you show up late or whatever and doesn't say anything and you get away with stuff. When he finally turns on you and says, "You're benched, you're off, you don't have any shifts this week," or whatever it is, you're like, oh shit. I didn't know that person had it in them. I'd never seen this side of them before. That's what Aaron Boone just did to Gleyber Torres. This is maybe the biggest chance all year for sure to have him snap out of it if he can mentally. I don't know his life. I don't know him as a person. I'm sure he's a sweetie poo.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. He seems like a sweetie poo. But if he has that dog in him, we will see it now. If not, we can go ahead accordingly and make the changes that we need to make accordingly after that. But this is good. And everybody's on Boone saying, "Oh, he didn't hold him accountable. He didn't say this. He didn't say that." What do you want him to say? This man is still on his team. A, he cares about him. B, as a person, he works with him every day. It's not like this caustic, cold relationship of, whatever you think. These men are family. And that's how you want them to be. Families win championships. Teams win championships. Stars win games. Teams win championships. So Boone wants it to be a family and a team. Okay? He is holding him accountable. So I have hope. I have hope right now for that. So I wanted to set that up for Damian. I know, Damian, it was your turn to talk, but I had to finish my full point about Gleyber. But I want to know your thoughts about Aaron Boone and him benching Torres, which, I want to know your thoughts.
About time, right? Listen, the thing is with Boone, like it's now or never, right? Because you're not promised next season, Boone.
Yeah.
It's a team option. The team's choice to pick you back up to be a manager for next season. So he has no other choice but to say, all right, I can't let Gleyber Torres cost me my job, essentially, right? Nor can I let any of these other people cost me my job, essentially. And again, this is why Cashman has to bring in the blood, has to bring in fresh blood, whether it's from outside the organization or inside the organization.
Mhm.
Obviously, Dominguez hurts us with him being hurt. We know that. Kills us, actually. Jordan Vivas in AAA right now. Can he give us more production than Gleyber Torres at this point? It can't be any worse, right?
Yeah.
And with that being said, I thought about it because a few times I said to myself, well, what are you going to get back for Gleyber? He doesn't have much value. Well, I thought to myself, Joey Gallo had no value whatsoever, and we got Clayton Beater somehow. So anything that we can get for Gleyber, not to say we're going to get anything like a Clayton Beater, that's only that type of deal. Let's give Cashman credit. He fleeced the Dodgers on that, right? So, but at this point, what are you going to do with Gleyber? I mean, he's giving you nothing, and I love Gleyber, and I can't continue to defend him. I don't know how Boone can continue to do it either. He leads all second basemen in baseball in errors. He's absolutely one of the worst as far as offensively. So what do you do with Gleyber? I mean, at this point, get what you can for him. Get new blood in here. Get new positive energy in the building. There's only so many candles the Yankees can burn, right? So at this point, you got to get a new blood. And it's the same wash, rinse, repeat with this entire team.
Yeah.
I just think when it comes to Gleyber, we all know defensively what we're gonna get out of Gleyber Torres. But I think what frustrates us Yankee fans the most is that
offensively,
we understand and we know potentially what he can give us from the offensive side of his game. We've seen it. And I've been saying this for the past couple of shows and for the past couple of times I've been on Spaces. How many times have we seen Gleyber Torres get hot and carry this team for 2 to 3 to 4 weeks, especially when Aaron Judge is out, when Aaron Judge is injured? Shout out to Judge as well, who hit his 30th home run, 77 RBIs. Aaron Judge has more RBIs on June 27th than any other Yankee from last year's team. Just let that sink into your head. But when it comes to Gleyber, that's why it's just so frustrating, because we know potentially what he has in the bat. When Gleyber Torres was coming up, and shout out to my guy Keith for making this point on his show. When Gleyber Torres was coming up after that 2019 season, SI, they put an article out there with Gleyber Torres, with Juan Soto, with Fernando Tatis, Vladimir Guerrero as being the next faces of Major League Baseball. Yeah. And to see Gleyber Torres fall from grace after 2019 to where he's at in 2024, you would think he would have had a catastrophic injury that altered his career, but he hasn't been injured, right? He didn't have an ACL tear. He didn't have a hip surgery. He didn't have any of that. Go ahead, Damian.
And you named all those guys, right? The difference between Gleyber and all those players you just mentioned is their mentality, right? You look at Tatis, everything he's been through, the injuries, through the steroids. What does he do? He goes to Yankee Stadium. Crowd is giving it to him. He's giving it back, and he's hitting bombs on us, right? Vladimir Guerrero, same thing. Mentally there. He always, no matter what his numbers have dropped a little bit, his average is still there, still a leader, still comes to New York, still does it to us every single time. So when you look at those players, the biggest difference between all of them is the mental, is his mental weakness. Gleyber, when you come into a contract season, you could either rise to the occasion and earn that contract to make you over $100 million 100 times over, or you can fall flat on your face like Gleyber Torres is doing right now and walk away next year hoping to get a 1-year deal, maybe between $8 and $10 million.
Shout out to my guy Joe from The Shift. I joined Joe yesterday on his live stream on his channel on The Shift. Great conversation. I had to leave early because I had to go to Rucker Park. But shout out to my guy Joe from The Shift. Amazing channel over there. Obviously, you guys know him if you're Yankee fans, but if you don't know, make sure you guys go and follow my guy Joe from the Shift. Awesome human being, great Yankee content. Shout out to my guy Joe. But I want to play something, and Erica, you hit it right on the head. Something cringy, something very cringy that showed up on my timeline, and this is from our friends at Foul Territory. Shout out before I continue. Shout out to my guy Scott Braun in Foul Territory, because they just got picked up by Bally Sports. I remember when Foul Territory first started out, they came on our show at the beginning. So shout out to Scott Braun. They've always been very friendly with us. They've always been retweeting, following, sharing us. So shout out to Scott Braun and everybody at the Foul Territory crew. But this cringy thing that popped up on my timeline from Met fans, and there may be some Met fans in the chat right now. Don't take it personal. But I think this is a bad look for you guys. So I'm going to just play this real quick, and we're going to laugh and we're going to chuckle about it.
Hey, hey, baby, we got your body solo. Hey, hey, baby, we got your body solo. Hey, hey, baby, we got your body solo.
I just want to say, somebody go out there and get their divorced dad, their divorced uncle, because it just was very cringy. It was reminding me, you remember when the San Diego Padres, they had their fans that were like singing songs about like the Dodgers and the Braves and Harper and the Phillies. That was the level that it was. And Christopher Cancel was like, yeah, they're probably drunk. It's a fan thing. Shout out to my guy Christopher Cancel that's in the chat as well. My guy Ness, Sue Nails in the building, Desiree Conrad, Eddie Snaps, Grace. How did you feel about those Met fans trying to serenade Mr. Juan Sotito?
I mean, it's giving desperate. It's giving begging. It's giving. I don't know. I mean, luckily it wasn't like the whole section or anything. It was just like a couple of idiots. So, whatever. There's idiots everywhere. There's plenty of idiot Yankee fans too, but you know.
That's true.
There are idiots, you know.
Thirsty, like Rodney Green just said. Thirsty in the chat. Thirsty. Ant said Soto to the Mets talks have to stop. Enough for now. Absolutely, Ant. Go ahead,
Right.
Damien.
I just threw up in my mouth. It was terrible. What are you gonna say? It was horrible. Jesus. God bless. If they didn't make the Met fans look even worse, Jesus. No, that's the no rhythm section of Citi Field on top of it all. So,
Oh my God.
Jesus Christ. Listen, obviously we know Cohen has the money to buy whoever he wants, right?
Yeah.
Right now it looks, the Mets top to bottom, 1 through 9, have a better lineup at this moment right now. But listen, they got the whole season to play it out. I still think Soto's going to end up in the Bronx, no matter what. Because no matter what, the Mets are the Mets. They're a debacle when it comes to personnel, when it comes to things happening on and off the field. So I'm not really worried about it. But I appreciate the upset stomach this morning. So that's about it.
Listen, one thing I got to say, and I was having this conversation with the guys from the Mets show when we did that episode on Monday and when I was on with Ant. When it comes to the Mets, and David Stern, right? He had a game plan, and he let the fans know we have to retool our minor league system before we can go out there and get the big time free agents. And within a year, he was able to turn a farm system that had no top 100 prospects to a farm system that has top 100 prospects and other prospects on the way. On our last show, I was saying on that show, the Mets, they have a young shortstop prospect, Jeremy Rodriguez, who is 17 years old. This kid was traded from the Diamondbacks for Tommy Pham. Why? Because they wanted to go to the World Series, I guess. But Jeremy Rodriguez is going to be a star. He may be the better shortstop or second baseman in New York City in 3 to 4 years. I'm not sipping the Kool-Aid. Just look at his stats, look him up, and I'm telling you, this kid, if you're a Met fan, David Stern, he did the right moves. You guys have prospects that are coming up. So just be on the lookout, just be patient, and just trust the process. Trust and David Stern. That's all I'm going to say from that aspect. And if any of you guys want to just chime in real quick before we switch gears and throw it over to the next topic.
All I want to say is I'm not, y'all, I swear I'm not like in love with Brian Cashman or anything like that. But Cashman doesn't have that luxury. What you just said, Cashman can't do that.
Yeah.
If Cashman came out and said that, the Yankees fans would absolutely go berserk. Okay. He has to be in postseason every year. He has to be in, last year was an abysmal failure for our franchise, and we still had a winning record. And we were not irrelevant to the wild card race at the end. I mean, it was like 2 weeks we were still relevant, and then the last 2 weeks we were totally out.
When Jason Dominguez came up, we were still relevant because we started winning. We was like, we still have a chance, and then he got injured. And it was like it's over.
I've never been so good at math in my whole life. Then when Jason Dominguez came out, started raking, and I'm like, okay, if we win this game and this game, and they lose this game and this game, and I'm like an algebra professor at some point. But yeah, I mean, but Cashman can't do that, right? So that's all I want to say about that. Good on the Mets, Yeah.
Go ahead, Dame. And after Dame, we're going to start talking about the next the next series that we have coming up against the Toronto Blue Jays. Go ahead, bro.
Listen, for all we know, David Stearns builds his teams a lot differently than a lot of other GMs would. So for all we know, the Mets might not even want Juan Soto, okay? Because David Stearns, as crazy as that may sound, David Stearns, like you said, has a plan. And that plan may be totally without Juan Soto and spending kind of money in that range. He might want to delegate that money to 4 or 5 different players rather than just one, which seems like the way David Stern builds his teams. If you look at the Brewers, constantly in first place for all those years, they didn't have any big money superstars other than Christian Yelich, and his contract is nowhere close to what even Giancarlo Stanton's contract is. But listen, David Stern's doing his thing. You can't take anything away from him. He's building that franchise back up. He's got deep pockets to do it with, and the Mets look good right now, and you can't take that away from them. Obviously, they're short on pitching. That's the biggest Achilles heel. So next season, it may not be so. It might just be all pitching that they go after. And there's a lot of big pitchers like Burns, like Fried, who are going to be available. And for all we know, they might take that $55 million that Juan Soto was going to get and give it to Burns and Fried, for everybody knows, because the offense is decent. So they only need a couple pieces here and there for that.
Yeah.
So, he's doing a great job. That's all I can say. He's doing a good job.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and again, like Grace said, right? Brian Cashman doesn't have that luxury.
No,
right?
Doesn't.
He only had that. I want to say he only had that opportunity once, and that was 2016 when we traded away Beltran, when we traded away Brian McCann, when A-Rod was forced to retire. And when he decided to do that, when he came out and said we have to trade our veterans and bring up our young fans, you know what Yankee fans did? They trusted it. They was like, okay, let's see who's the next group. And we had that amazing second half from Gary Sanchez. Aaron Judge came up. Tyler Austin came up. Luis Severino came up as well that year as well. So,
and then what happened in 2017?
We went on to the postseason, and
we almost went to the World Series. We should have gone to the World Series.
Yeah,
that's how we got Gleyber.
Yeah,
that's how we got
exactly
Gleyber,
Gleyber
Frazier, all of them. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. But let's switch gears because we do have a series that's coming up against the Toronto Blue Jays. And listen, if there's ever a time for us to start winning, it's right now. Not only is it a team in our division, but we have to avoid losing 5 series in a row. We cannot lose 5 series in a row. We have to turn things around, and we have to turn things around ASAP. I'm pulling up the matchup right now. I just had it on my phone, and it closed out for some reason. But when you look at it for the New York Yankees, the New York Yankees are sending out there Carlos Rodon, who in his last start had a blunder. He was on the bench crying. Right, we understood that with Garrett Cole being out, we needed our starting rotation to step up. And in his absence, they stepped up tremendously. You got to give flowers to Rodon, to Stroman, to Luis Hill, to Clark Smith, Nestor Cortez. They all stepped up. Now Garrett Cole is back, and now they're starting to catch some hiccups. I'm not blaming the starting staff because this entire season, they've been spot on. They've been on the money. these past few series, I blame it more on the offense. But going up against Toronto, Grace, I'll let you lead the conversation. We're facing Jose Barrios, right? We've done hit him around when he was with Minnesota and with the Blue Jays. So that right there lets us know that we got some things going on outside. But go ahead, Grace.
I just had to look up if he was a righty or a lefty. He's a
righty.
righty.
He's
we
a
gonna
righty.
win.
Yeah.
We're gonna win. Oh man, we cannot hit left-handed pitching at all. And that's exactly what the Mets knew. And they said, oh, okay, bet. 2 left-handed pitchers. Here you go. And we're going to walk Judge and Soto every time, almost every time, until we get up in the game 7-8 runs. And then maybe we might pitch to Soto or Judge and see what they can do. Grand slam, home run number 30. And, but still, they had a game plan. That was a good game plan. So I was hoping it wasn't a left-handed pitcher. It's a right-handed pitcher. Thank God. All right. The Jays are down bad. You think we're down bad? The Jays are down bad. The Jays would give everything to be in our position right now. So Judge owns the Maple Leaf. As I have said many times, he shattered the Maple Leaf in their park, and I love that moment. Just because I guess I'm a nerd or whatever. But he owns the Maple Leaf. Vladdy wants to be a Yankee. They are down bad, and we're facing a right-handed pitcher. Let's go win tonight. I hope, like what we were talking about, Gleyber Torres having his moment where he was feeling real sorry for himself, even though I don't think Rodon was feeling sorry for himself when he was crying. It seemed more like he was caring about the team and letting the team down. But anyway, I digress. I hope that Rodon had his moment, and now he turns it back into the dog that we know he is on the mound. And you'll be able to tell as soon as he walks out, top of the I guess it'll be top of the first. No, bottom of the. Oh my God, I'm so confused.
It'll be the
Rodon will be bottom.
Okay,
no, it'll be bottom of the first, because we're on the road.
Easy. But yeah, whenever he comes out, you'll be able to tell. Is he mentally locked back in, or is he still feeling helpless? I believe he will be mentally locked back in. I believe he will be the dog back again. And so I think we'll win tonight. I hope we win tonight.
Go ahead, Dame.
Man. Obviously it's a divisional game. The Yankees have been terrible within the division. This season we have a losing record in the division. I think we're like 11-14 now. We're facing Jose Barrios. Thank God he is a right-hand pitcher. But again, we're running into what we've been running into. You got Volpe, Judge, Soto. It was Volpe, Soto, Judge. And then who after that, right?
Yeah.
You got J.D. Davis. No, not going to do his job, really. Can't really blame him. He's J.D. Davis, all right? The back of his card says it all. Jose Trevino, what are you going to get out of him? Not much. Obviously, Wells will be starting tonight, I would imagine, since Rodon is up there. Up and down the offense, it's questions. What are you going to get out of the offense? Rodon, the last 2 starts has been abysmal. The Boston series and obviously the last series, he's gotten crushed. So Rodon has to get back on point. He's got to start using his mix. They are just sitting dead red on the fastball. Everybody's sitting on the fastball and crushing it. Start using your changeup, Rodon is decent. Start using the slider more. Start using your cutter more. You sat there all offseason and worked on the cutter. We're hardly seeing it. So he's going to have to start making adjustments to his pitch usage, his sequence. And again, if he does that, and we're going to have to seriously, heavily rely on pitching and small ball up until we start getting something done on the offense. Because otherwise, we're just going to be another carbon copy of the Mets series before that, series before that. At the end of the day, it's all offense.
Verdugo should do well, though. He started hitting last night. He hits right-handed pitchers, and he knows that stadium. He's been playing in the AL East for a while. I think Verdugo will have a good game. Wells, again, another lefty. Cabrera hitting from the left side. So that'll be good. And then Wells can maybe gun down some runners. I don't know if Toronto's really a running team.
No, they're really not. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's good too. I think if Rodon throws the curve then you know we're gonna win. Every time he throws a curve in, you know he is really feeling it that night because he hardly ever throws that pitch. But when he does, I'm like, oh, he's got 4 pitches tonight, or he, like more than his usual. He's got the changeup, he's got the fastball, he's got the slider, and he's got a curve he can throw in every once in a while. We're gonna win. So yeah.
I just want to point something out when it comes to Alex Verdugo's, and this is from Doc Sports. Against the Toronto Blue Jays, Alex Verdugo has a 733 OPS. He's a 272 hitter. He and 232 at bats, 63 hits, 26 run scores, and 23 RBIs. So if there was ever a time that the Yankees needed Alex Verdugo to face the Toronto Blue Jays, it is right now, because teams aren't going to pitch to Juan Soto and Aaron Judge until somebody proves that behind them you're going to make a mistake. Until somebody steps up behind Judge and Soto, teams aren't going to pitch to Judge and Soto. If I'm a manager from an opposing team, I'm not going to make it easy for you to win. I'm gonna need your other guys to step up. And I see other people in the chat calling out. I want to say Ben Rice, he may go yard. He may go yard against the Blue Jays. Right. I want to have some faith in Ben Rice. I love the energy that Ben Rice has given us. I don't think we'll see JD Davis, because JD Davis, there's only one reason we got him, to face left-handed pitching. That's it. He's a platoon player. He can't hit righties, and he ain't hit not one lefty this weekend, right? So we're not going to see him against right-handed pitching. Exactly, Razil. JD McDavis.
Yes.
I'm going to put the link out for the open panel so you guys can come up, join us for the open panel. Damien, I just want to always check to make sure, are you good with time? You good, brother? Everything good?
Yeah, we go.
Copy. All right. Now, when it comes to Carlos Rodon, this is the one thing I want to say, and I'll toss it over to you guys to get your take. When it comes to Rodon, he had a horrible season last year, right? We understand he was battling injuries, but coming into this season, we needed Rodon to start the season on fire. And Los, credit to Los, he has started on fire. I don't get why Michael K, Don LaGreca, folks on WFAN, other sports personalities, why are people beating up on Carlos Rodon because he let his emotions be displayed on the field? Are we really? Is society that much of a just a clusterfuck that we're gonna make fun of Carlos Rodon because he was crying? We're gonna say he's not tough enough. We're gonna say that he's not a dog. Seriously, that's where we devolve to as a society, because in 2024, a man crying on screen in Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, on top of it, we're going to beat down on Carlos Rodon. Make that make sense to me. How many times do we promote mental health here on this channel? Mental health is a big thing. We live in a society where men, they die at 45 years old because, God forbid, they can say a puppy is cute because people are going to think that they're soft or they're not tough. It is ridiculous that we have grown men on the internet making fun of Carlos Rodon because he let a few tears go. Are you kidding me? Go ahead. Whoever wants to take it.
I'll tell you why.
Go ahead.
The reason is because the people who are upset about Rodon crying, I should say specifically, the men who are upset about Carlos Rodon crying are upset because they themselves would not allow themselves to cry in that situation. They were raised, forgive me, I'm not saying that they're like super old or whatever. I'm just saying they were raised in a time when society society was not kind to men showing emotion or being in touch with any emotion whatsoever. And we have progressed as a society, I think. So there is a little bit of an age gap there, I think. But even though there are some young people too, but it's more about themselves. It's like if you don't like somebody because, like, let's say you don't like somebody because they're loud. They're too loud. I promise you, I would bet everything in my life that when you were a child, someone told you that you were too loud. And then you suppressed that characteristic about yourself and you went on about your life. And then when you see that characteristic expressed in someone else who's comfortable with themselves, it bothers you. Not because of that person, but because you're not comfortable with something in yourself. And that's exactly what it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Go ahead, Dane.
Psychology.
Boom. That's a TED talk from Grace Monroe.
Hey, there you go. Real G's cry, real men wear pink, right? So come on, stop.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? But nah, listen, I had no problems with the emotion. You know, normally I'll be honest, when I'm furious, I got tears coming down my eyes. So I dare you call me a sucker for that one. But no, listen, it's emotions, it's baseball, it's sports. Sports is supposed to be emotional, no matter what sport you're in, no matter how you show the emotion, whether you're angry. I mean, Lord have mercy, Michael K has the nerve, as emotional as that guy is on his show. You know, when he sat there and called everybody, that one caller, no, it's called Peter, so you sound like a fan yelling at the top of his lungs. Then people calling him out, him getting his feelings over social media. So Michael K, just be quiet. Stop it. But that's the side that we do live in, right? People get in their feelings, and you know, misery loves company. So people who seen that commented on it. Most of the time, they're probably in the closet crying. So, but at the end of the day, Rodon's got to get on the bump today. He's got to show the opposite emotion. He's got to be that dog that we all know who he is, and let that all go in the past. Tonight's a new game. All that Boston series, the other series where he gave up those clunkers, that's in the past. Brand new day. That's a great thing about baseball, great thing about life. The moment we open up our eyes, it's a new day, new pages turned over, new opportunity. So, Carlos, let's go, brother.
Yeah.
I just want to say one thing real quick. Nobody says anything about athletes crying after they win when they get that trophy. They're all crying. Or when they advance to the postseason and they're crying. Nobody says anything about that. So ask yourself, why are you uncomfortable with a man showing sadness? It's not even, maybe it's not even the crying, because you're obviously fine with it when they're crying, when they're happy, but you're not okay with them crying when they're sad. Why are you uncomfortable with men having sadness? You know what I'm saying? Like, there's something deeper there you need to do the work on for yourself. But
I'm just going to, this is going to be my last take on it, right? I'd rather see a player show emotion instead of a player that doesn't hustle, that shows that he doesn't care about the team. Right. If he is showing emotion when it comes to him not performing at the level that he expects himself, then what are we doing? If you're criticizing him for that, then tell me, when is it appropriate to show emotion? Because I'm gonna tell you this right now. When Lou Gehrig was giving his speech, when he left Major League Baseball and had to step away because of his illness, you gonna tell me that you would have told, hey, Babe Ruth, you shouldn't be on that field crying. Hey, this person, you shouldn't be on that field crying. So y'all let me know, no crying in baseball. Let's stop it. Cool. So go and tell Babe Ruth's family that Babe Ruth should have never been crying when Lou Gehrig was giving his speech. How about this? Go and tell all the Yankees that cried when Thurman Munson passed away that they should have never been crying, because there ain't no crying in baseball. That's what I want to say about that. So I want to bring somebody else before this conversation turns into something that it doesn't need to turn into. But like I'm saying, when Thurman Munson passed away, everybody on the Yankees were crying. So to say that there was no crying in baseball when Thurman Munson died, that right there is idiotic. When Mickey Mantle passed away and they had his ceremony at Yankee Stadium, Yankees on the field were crying. So to say that there's no crying in baseball, again, point blank. So I want to bring up Erica. That's how much he
cares. That's how much he cares about his team.
I want to bring up Erica to lighten it up. Yeah. No,
bring in Erica. Please.
Let's bring in Erica to
she got a guitar. Quick. You got your guitar,
Erica, you got your guitar, Erica.
Where's the guitar?
I think they need you to play the guitar for them, Erica. Go ahead.
No, I'm riding high because the Knicks are doing work in the offseason, baby.
Yeah.
Hold on. I want to say this. Yes, rah, I do cry. Ain't nothing wrong with crying. What's wrong with crying? God forbid you show emotion, right? Go ahead, Erica.
No. I missed a portion of, because I had a call. I missed a portion of this rant, but yeah, no. I mean, listen, if Rodon wants to cry and off of emotion, you know, sometimes I get so frustrated And I know there's gonna be some comments in the chat, but I get so frustrated that I cry out of frustration. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just it just happens, man. You can't control that. Sorry that there's
Yeah.
a ton of we live in a time where there's cameras on everybody all the time. Remember, there was this time that Judge had to cover the camera guy because they kept zooming in on somebody and focusing and trying to create a narrative. So it's just like it is what it is.
Oh yeah, he stepped in front. I forgot about that.
Yeah,
Yes,
so
absolutely. I cry for anything. I watch Power Rangers and I cry. I watch Stranger Things and I cry. Rah. That's not an insult right there. Me pointing out that I'm crying, I got Power Rangers behind my head. Rah. You think I care that you say that I look like I cry at anything? Absolutely not. I'm crying right now because this conversation is hilarious. Go ahead, E.
Nothing, man. I wanted to focus a little bit on I mean, you guys watched Aaron Judge's post-game interview yesterday, and he still has a positive attitude, man. He's the leader in that locker room, and he's still bringing that spark, right? I believe we're just in a really bad slump, but the culture is still there, right? It's how you face the adversity that differentiates you from those that succeed. And I've said that from the beginning of the season. We were talking about, the Boone has his players standing 10 toes down for him. They're shouting him out in comments. Well, you know what I'm saying? And then now it's like, oh, he's got to go. Like he's a player's manager, and we've addressed all of this before, and it was working when they were winning, and now it's not working because they're losing. Like, I just feel like that's where I get annoyed, where it's just like, it's that switch up that everybody has, where it's like, when everything is good, oh, it's fine and dandy, and when it's bad, then it's just like we got to find somebody to point the finger at. So I don't know. I know I don't know if it's trolls in the chat, but I was like getting kind of annoyed.
Listen, I've learned that, doing this is you don't feed the trolls. I engage with everybody. So shout out to everybody in the chat. I don't want anybody to think that, me saying what I'm saying is a personal attack. If you feel that I'm coming at you personally, right, then there's a saying that they say a hit dog holler, right? So maybe you got to do some self-evaluating in the mirror. But no, I'm just putting it out there. I just think in 2024, I just think it's crazy that we're criticizing Rodon because he actually cares about his job, right? We grew up watching one player that frustrated me the most. Maybe you guys know this player. He was an outfielder on the Baltimore Orioles. I thought he had all the talent in the world. You guys remember Luis Matos?
Yeah.
He was an outfielder with the Baltimore Orioles. Crazy talent, was amazing fielder, amazing power. It's just he didn't hustle. He didn't care about the game. I remember one time in Yankee Stadium, he was jogging up the first base line, and I think Tony Romack threw it over to first base. It was an error, and at the last second, he tried to hustle to beat it out. He was called out, and he argued with the referee. My man, if you just ran out the box from the beginning, you would have been safe. So I see the difference, right? You got some players that they have all the talent in the world and they just don't care and they just don't hustle. And then you got guys like Carlos Rodon who has talent and has emotion, and it just shows differently than how other people would accept it.
My daddy used to say, you have one day. Whenever anything bad would happen to me and I would get like really depressed and I'd be so down and I'd be so mopey and pouty, and my daddy would say, Gracie, I love you. You have one day. One day to feel down, one day to feel sorry for yourself, but tomorrow is back to work. And that's the energy that I want my Yankees squad to have. It's like Gleyber had a bad day, you get one day. You get one day to sit over there, feel sorry for yourself. Tomorrow, it's back to the batting cage. It's back to the bench with all the other players. You need to be yelling for your teammates. You need to be supporting. You need to be watching the videos. You need to be at that iPad trying to get better. Okay, you have one day. Carlos Rodon, you had a bad outing. You were emotional. You were crying, like whatever. You had one day. Now today, get back on the mound. Get back in. Play. You know what I mean? That's it.
Facts. Go ahead, Damon.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, Damon. I'm going to toss it back over to E.
No, that's where. Oh shit! Wait, did I?
No, go ahead. No, go ahead, Erica.
Go ahead.
You know what? I'm gonna stop talking.
No, go ahead.
Go ahead. It's
Please do. Please do. Go ahead.
I was gonna say that's where Gleyber's mentality always bothered me, right? Like, he's always handled adversity this way. This has been happening since he first got here. You know, he does the chewing his nails. He's like, his shoulders slump over. But the reason I backed him, and I know you're like, Grace, Grace, you said don't listen, Sierra and Erica, about my little rant that I'm gonna have. But I mean, the reason I back him is because he's had solid seasons, and I just don't see any other second baseman that's available that could back him at the time. But I agree. I think that if there's something in the minors that we could plug in, then do it, you know. But just remember, guys, in this chat, if the kid that we call up starts to struggle in the first 2-3 weeks, then what?
Bingo.
That's fair.
Leave him be. Leave him be. Lord
him
have
be.
mercy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Leave him
Yeah.
be.
Because like you said,
That's
Erica,
why we need him to get going. We need
name
him
the
to snap
second
out of it.
baseman that's available that we could trade for. Luis Arias, he was already traded to San Diego. There ain't no Luis Arias that's ready for us. So there's no other second baseman that's available that's going to give you better numbers. And it sucks to even say it because Gleyber Torres is not even giving you good numbers. He's hitting below 200. So whoever we get that, and this is the thing, Yankee fans, they want to be critical on Brian Cashman for getting J.D. Davis. Who else was he going to get? With DJ LeMahieu struggling the way he has been struggling, who else is he going to get? We had to scrape the bottom of the barrel for J.D. Davis. Go ahead, Dane.
Man, when you say it out loud like that, we're in such a rut. Jesus. What are you gonna do? I mean, Lord, Jordan Vivas, like I said, I'm stuck on the kid. I think he can help. You got the Renifos of the world who you can plug in at second base, having a career season, out there for the get. You know, there's a couple players that you can get. At the end of the day, this is a season-long slump for Gleyber, for a guy, again, who is trying to go in for a contract. People want Peraza up, and like I said before, Peraza to me is a carbon copy of Gleyber. Unfortunately to me, and with all due respect, they are both mentally weak. You got Peraza, who's got a great glove, however, had every opportunity in the world to give Brian Cashman a reason right here, right now, to say, I'm a better fit than Gleyber Torres, and he's hitting $180 in AAA at that, which, you know, the pitching competition is better in AA than it is in AAA. So for him to be hitting like that in AAA blows my mind. So the Yankees got to do with what they have until reinforcements come in, whoever those reinforcements are. But again, it's to quote Boone, it's all in front of you, right? So put it together, get any negative that's in the clubhouse. You got to disperse of it. You're only going to bring others around you down. And at this point, you know, just roll the dice, see what you can get. But I will say this: play the youth, play the Wells of the world, play Ben Rices of the world, play these guys, because this is your future. And either you're going to know what you're going to get out of them now, or you're never going to know, and you're going to stunt their growth like you've done so many other players in the past. So many other rookies, so many other AAAers, so many AA-ers. So just play them. What are you going to lose? It can't be any worse than what you're getting out of Gleyber, what you're getting out of Trevino, what you're getting out of DJ LeMahieu. I mean, unfortunately, it ain't going to get any better. So you might as well see what you got.
Facts. I want to shout out Ra for the 99-cent sticker. Ra is all love. Ra. If you want, we could go, you know, to a emotional therapy class, right? What it is we go into an empty room and we just break stuff, right? So if you got some pepped up frustrations, we could go to that break room and we can have ourselves a good time. Shout out to Ra. Always appreciate you for always being in the chat and supporting us as well. Open panel today. Yes, it will be Austin Cruz. I'll put the link for the open panel. Next, I was waiting for AA to come back, but I got a few more people backstage behind Erica. Once Erica goes, I'll bring up the other people. I want to ask you, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., you know, you sold on Vladdy to the Yankees. What's your thoughts, when it comes to that? Where do you see, or what are you thinking for the trade deadline, Erica?
I think we're desperate enough where Vladdy does sound like a lot better than what we have going on right now. I just think it's gonna take too much to get him. So I don't know what the fix is. I think the fix is get the Yankees to string across a couple of wins and let us get positive again just a bit. Let the guys like Verdugo and start Cabrera, please. Just because, like I said before, he gets timely hits. He might not get hit all the time, but he gets timely hits. You know
He
what I'm
does.
saying? He plays with a swag that can light up a lineup a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what the Yankees. I really don't know what the Yankees are gonna do. But I'm sure Brian Cashman will figure it out. There's a bunch of people saying, oh, like, you know, he's like Brian Cat like we were saying in Brian Cashman we trust, right? When Verdugo was making great defensive plays and peeing on bases, it was like, oh, Brian Cashman really made a good deal. When Stroman's the first guy out of the dugout to praise a starting pitcher that went, you know, 6 innings or whatever, oh man, Cashman really, I'm so glad he didn't burn those bridges with Stroman and they mended it, blah, blah, blah. When we make the trade for Soto and a guy like Michael King is not doing well in the Padres, we're like, oh man, we fleeced them. Way to go, Cashman. You know, and it's just like, I don't know what else he could have done. I mean, I'm not caping for this guy at all, right? Like, but he has made the moves for success for a couple years now. People are saying that he hasn't. When we were yelling for him to go get Rodon, he got Rodon. When we were yelling at him to get Cole, he got Cole. You know what I mean? Hal had to step in for Judge, but he got Judge. You know, he signed Rizzo for a solid deal. Like, you thought you were gonna get a good Rizzo. Has he made bad trades? Yeah, or bad pickups? Yeah, DJ LeMahieu, Aaron Hicks. Did he not go and get the shortstop that we were wanting him to get? But look at Volpe. Volpe is panned out. So you just got to take it on the chin, guys, and hope that he can make the trades at the deadline. There's a lot of teams that are going to go for the same people. And do we have the prospects that these guys want? You know, so it's gonna be tough, man. I hope that they take 3 out of 4 from the Blue Jays. I'm never gonna give up on this team. There's just so many people that feel like fair weather fans right now. And if you look, baseball is crazy, dude. If you told me that the Mets fans would be hooting and hollering and praising a Purple McDonald's character after the start that they had, where they couldn't do anything right, and now they're talking down to us. That's how baseball works, guys.
Oh God!
Like, it's just you gotta just kind of take it on the chin a little bit. And like I said, if Judge still has that positive mindset and he's the leader in that locker room and he's still going out there and getting a home run every other day, things are fine still in that clubhouse. So I wouldn't put it on Boone either.
And I agree with Erica. You must play Hector's friend Oswaldo Cabrera because it's no longer it's his friend. It's no longer Andres Chaparro. It's Oswaldo Cabrera. And yes, he must get played.
We talked about Chaparro too. That was a crazy thing too. Shout out to Andres Chaparro, my other former friend who was with the Yankees in the Yankees minor league system.
Absolutely.
I wanna Raziel the Great. I really want to know, if you're Cashman, what are you doing differently? I'm just gonna leave it at that, because you keep on with the negativity in the chat, and I don't understand what the Yankees could do differently at this point.
Bro, here's the thing. Raziel, he's also a Heat fan that watches our Knicks Morning Brew show. So even though he's a Heat fan, he tunes in and he still gives us great conversation. But no, I'm with you when it comes to Cashman. Look at the moves that he didn't make. Right, the only one that you could say that he should have made or probably pushed hard for is a Corbin Burns. Right, so I'll give you that. If you want to say he should have traded Spencer Jones for Corbin Burns, cool. But besides that, Jordan Montgomery is dog shit. Right, when you look at what he's been doing this year, look at Blake Snell. Right, look at Josh Hader. These were all guys that Yankee fans, once we lost Yamamoto, Yankee fans wanted Snell before they wanted Marcus Stroman. Yankee fans wanted Josh Hader before they wanted Stroman. Yankee fans wanted Montgomery to come back before they wanted Stroman. Right, and all 3 of those guys, they got overpaid and they've been struggling. The only player from Scott Boris's camp that's actually performing well is JD Martinez, and that's because he's a professional hitter. And what did JD Martinez do? He didn't rush his way back. He said, no, I'm going to go to the minors and I'm going to be down there until I feel like I'm ready to come back. But appreciate you like always. Let's get your predictions for this series against the Blue Jays. What you thinking? It's a 4-game series, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Hold on.
4 games.
4-game series.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
What's your thoughts?
I was in the Strike Zone stream before this. I was just listening, and NFE had a good point. Usually I'm like 2-2, I'll take it. But right now, the Yankees have to take 3 out of 4. I mean, that team, they should beat up on them. That team is slumping. And at the end of the day, we still have Judge and Soto, and I saw that something in the chat from Greg. If Judge is the leader, how is he gonna light a spark? Remember what we were saying in the beginning of the season? These guys thrive off of Judge. They even said it.
Yeah.
When Judge gets going, we get going. Judge is still going, so he has to just keep doing what he's doing, and it'll follow suit, guys. That's all I gotta say. Hopefully take 3 out of 4. I can't predict what this offense is gonna do. I just hope that we see Cabrera in the lineup, and I want to see more Wells. That's it.
Yeah. Same. Erica, appreciate you like always. Always solid takes. I'll see you out there on these Twitter streets, and don't feed the trolls. That's one thing. Don't engage or don't feed the trolls. Later, Erica. All right, so I'm gonna bring up JJ, then I'm gonna bring up Austin, and then I got Mets 2128. My guy Metsy is in the building. I'm gonna bring you guys up as you showed up in the queue that's underneath me. JJ, my guy, JJ always look like he's sleeping whenever he backstage. JJ, let me get a thumbs up. Let me know you're ready to rock out. All right. So my guy JJ, who is a diehard Met fan,
Y'all
JJ,
thought we were fucking dead.
language, young man, language.
Apologies,
We try not to curse before 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So language.
My fault. What's going on, everybody? 11
up,
games
JJ?
under 500. That's what we were about a month ago. Now look at us at 500, beating the bejesus out of the so-called best team in baseball, says literally every Yankee fan on the planet. It's all I hear from y'all every single day. We got Judge, we got Soto. Guess what? There's one problem. The rest of your lineup sucks. Simple as that. And listen, I'm a Met fan, don't get me wrong, but I'm also a baseball truther. The Yankees have to add at the deadline. There is absolutely no reason that you should not go out there and make a move. And everyone's saying Vladdy Jr. You can't just get one guy. You need to land 3 or 4 guys because you have 3 or 4. Keep this energy up in August. I keep this energy whether the Mets are 20 games over or under 500.
Yeah, JJ, just to let y'all know, JJ battery, it never runs out. JJ's battery is really the energizer. He's really the energizer bunny back there. Go ahead, JJ.
Look, y'all can see my SNY green screen. I don't know if some people were fortunate enough to watch the Subway Series from the best booth in baseball. Others were not as lucky. Michael K is an absolute clown for that. And the fact that the Mets broadcast booth responded with a 30-second clip of them just laughing at him on the broadcast, that just made the series. But in all honesty, you guys have to go out and add. You need more. Vladdy Jr., how much richer can you guys possibly get? Like, seriously, one guy isn't going to solve it.
I don't want to stop. I don't want to stop, JJ. I'm greedy.
One guy
I want Vladdy. I want Vladdy.
guy
I want everyone else.
One guy isn't going to solve it. You need more than just one guy. And honestly,
Agreed.
if I'm the Yankees, I'm not going after the bigger names. I'm going after depth pieces that would start within your lineup. Someone like you say, you need a first baseman. There's a first baseman that slugs a bunch of home runs. It's a switch hitter by the name of Yeimer Candelario. I think he would look really sharp in a Yankee uniform. There's a guy out there in Pittsburgh that could potentially be playing outfield and give you a little bit of help with Alex Verdugo. His name is Connor Joe. I think he could potentially be a solid depth piece. There's a guy out there in Miami that can play second base. Hello, you're talking about Vladdy, but you're not going to mention Jazz Chisholm? There's rumors of him going to the Mets, for God's sake.
Yeah.
The Mets have a shot at getting Jazz Chisholm, apparently. There's a guy out there in Colorado, Ryan McMahon, who I think would be better off with the Yankees than Vladdy. There's a lot of different ways that you guys can go to attacking because, hang on, I'm going to pull up this I just recently filmed a podcast with my buddy who's a Yankee fan, and we discussed this on our show earlier today, and I'm going to pull this up if it's all right with you guys. Yeah. There is a clear difference between the Mets and Yankees, and it's the lineup, and I'm not talking about the stars in the lineup. I'm talking about it 1 through 9. Look at the differences between the two lineups. One lineup is top loaded. The other has 9 potential contributors. Not to mention Starling Marte is injured, and he was one of the top contributors during the season. So the Yankees have to add. You need more than that. Now we're getting advice from Papa Smurf to help the Yankees. JJ, but no, keep telling me there is no one out there. I don't need a Mets fan telling me what we need. This is hilarious. Okay, well then stop complaining about everything. Abraham Torres, Luis Rengifo. Yeah, those are 2 names too.
Yeah.
I respect Jake because
No,
I'm on the
Luke-
Mets stream, and I told him why the Mets should sell. But he believes in this team. I love fans like that. I will never say the Mets should sell unless they're 30 games under 500.
Yeah.
I have full confidence.
I think in 2024, JJ, with that third extra wild card, I think it opens it up for a lot of other teams that normally will be out of it to still be contending. Even if you make that third wild card, even if you get knocked out after 2 games, your team still gets money by making it to the postseason. You still get a little bit of ad revenue. And when you have billionaire owners that try to manipulate the payroll to make sure that they could pay the players as cheap as possible and still make the most money, you guys going to sell me on the idea that they don't want to go to the postseason for 2 games just to get extra money? Come on, you're kidding yourself. Grace, I want to throw it over to Grace and Damian real quick just to get their take, because JJ, he laid out some great names when it comes to different trade possibilities. So even though JJ's a Met fan and some folks in the chat are giving him some mess right now, JJ is a solid baseball mind.
Bring it on.
So like Li said, JJ, Li Yankee King, I know he annoys people with his trades and stuff, but there's still guys that, you know, they're knowledgeable of the game to a certain degree, more towards Li than JJ. Go ahead, Grace, I'll let you go.
I mean, I agree. And some of those names, excuse me, I'm so sorry.
You're good.
Some of those names we have been talking about, and I do think that we need to make a trade to get at least one person. The only hesitancy that I have is that eventually, like in 3 weeks now, Giancarlo supposedly is coming back. And we have Jason Dominguez, who, when he's healthy, he'll be coming up as well. So I think that there's part we need to go get somebody, and part we need to wait. So we need the people we have to start playing better. Whether that's shuffling around the lineup to make it more balanced, like what you were saying, JJ, or whatever they need to do, they have to at least get some production out of the guys we have for a couple weeks until we get somebody back. Because you can't go trade for a whole bunch of people, and then you got people coming back, and then you got nobody left in the farm system, and then, you know, I mean, that's a big mess. You know what I mean?
I want to highlight a chat real quick. Just give me 1 second, JJ, and I'm gonna throw it over to Damian. But it's for my girlfriend Alex, who's with my nephew right now, and he's like, "Hi, this is Hector's nephew watching live, and I just want to shout out my favorite uncle. I love you, Theo. Go Yankees! I love you too, nephew."
That's awesome.
Go ahead, Dame. I'll kick it over to you, and then let's throw it back over to JJ for his last take, just because we got Austin and Mets that I want to bring up to get them into the conversation. Go ahead, Dame.
Your mods are
First of all,
right now.
Is that macho? All right.
Saying I'm a cringy fan chanting we want Soto. I said Soto's not going to be a Met back in May. Y'all can have Juan Soto. We don't need Soto. That's all you guys.
Yeah, that wasn't JJ's stepdad singing that Juan Soto should come to the Mets.
Hell no. We're past that. We got other problems.
Go ahead, Dave. Go ahead.
First of all, JJ, great takes, man. All those names you put out there, some of them I already put out there myself. Yeah, the Yankees got some like I said, Cashman's got about a month. He's got some work to do. And it's just not offense. You got to fix that bullpen on top of it all.
Oh yeah.
Which I'm not scared of too much, because again, I trust in Blake. I trust in Matt Blake, and I trust in Cashman at least to put a great bullpen together. He always has. He always, since back in the day, so it doesn't matter when it comes to that. The Achilles heel has always been the Achilles heel. That is the offense. Every time we get bounced out of playoffs, it's the offense. So we got to focus on the offense. We got to fix defense, the infield defense. So, you know, obviously we made moves like for Birdie. Birdie's not going to come back for a minute now. He's just starting to walk. He's just starting to walk normally a little bit now. So we're not going to see Birdie. Yeah, we're going to. Exactly. So he's got like another 6 weeks. You got Big G. Obviously, you know, a lot of people were down on G, right? But how much do you want G? You know, obviously a huge part. And again, it sucks is we're singing the same song with G. Somebody who contributes, but we can't rely on him, right? Getting hurt's part of his game, kind of what Cashman said. Unfortunately, he was right about that as well. Our backups, Dominguez, great backup plan. Unfortunately, he's hurt as well. So you might have to, okay? Not for nothing, but if it came to Vladimir Guerrero, and, you know, we talked about this before, right? It takes a certain player to trade certain players, right? So when it comes to Spencer Jones, would I do it for Vlad? I would. Okay. Call me crazy, but I would. All right. Because I would. And only because I think Only because I think that, number one, we're gonna need a first baseman, right? After next year, Rizzo's not coming back. See you later, Rizzo. Sayonara, you're not coming
Roll
back.
with Ben Rice.
So
Give the kid
Ben
a
Rice,
chance.
I love Ben Rice, but again, what are you looking at next season? Augustine Ramirez, Ben Rice should be your platoon catchers. Those two should be your platoon. Now you take Austin Wells. What do you do with Austin? You trade him this season for Luis Rengifo, somebody that you can get back to help this team this season. So the catching is fine. You got Augustine Ramirez. We'll be ready. The kid's bat is ready. His glove's a little behind. He's in AAA right now. Ben Rice, he's a better catcher than he is a first baseman. So if you guys want to win this season, bring in Rengifo, bring in Vladdy if you can. And honestly, listen, guys, I don't believe the Vladdy deal is even capable. I don't think it's possible, because I don't think the Blue Jays are going to trade somebody who was their cornerstone of their franchise to the Yankees, and then all of a sudden he flourishes, becomes great, and egg on the Blue Jays' face. So I don't even think that's ever going to happen in the first place. But the Yankees got, like King JJ said, the Yankees got more than one role to fill. Yeah. And it's going to take a whole lot more than just a Vladdy. So I agree with you there. I don't think Vladdy's coming anyway. So I'm just going to knock that out. I just want to let everybody know you're crazy if you don't think we should bring him on. But there's a lot of different players out there that you can fill the holes with and that can carry this team. We're ready where we need to be. No matter what, we're going to be a playoff team, whether it's the division or whether it's a wild card. The way things are going now might just be a wild card. But that's all we need to do is get in there, right? Because last season, 82-80, we weren't happy, and all we kept saying was, "Can we get into the wild card at least? Can we get in? Can we get in? Can we get in?" Well, at this point, it's probably going to be a wild card. And I hate to break everybody's bubble. I hate to hurt your feelings, but the Orioles just flat out have a better team than we do right now, and they don't have many holes. They don't, other than their pitching. Their pitching is a holes. Burns and Grayson Rodriguez. After that is a who's who. So they have their issues too, believe me. But the Yankees got to fix their offense. That's it.
I just want to say shout out. We got over 208 people rocking out with us right now. If you're watching us on YouTube, smack the like button. Let's get up to 60 likes on the stream. If you're on Twitter, if you're on Instagram, if you're on X or Facebook, click the link in the bio, jump on over to YouTube, hit the subscribe button, and help us as we try to climb to 5K. JJ, I'm gonna give you your last tip because I got Austin and Mess that I want to bring up and get them in the conversation. Austin, you next. So, JJ, make it fast. Right. Give us your ideal trade deadline. What do you want David Stern and the Mets to do? Go ahead, brother.
What do I want David Stern and the Mets to do? Get myself a second baseman, fix our starting rotation, and get another bullpen piece. But that's not what my final take's about. My final take is to the Yankee fans. Yeah, do I can't stand you guys? Oh, absolutely. Did I pray for you to get swept? Bro. Absolutely. But remember this: you're 52-30. The sky is not falling over 2 bad weeks in Major League Baseball. You're going to pick it up, and I'm going to be here in July when we get swept at Yankee Stadium. I'm just telling you right now, whether we win or lose, I'm still going to be here. That's just the bottom line. Y'all got plenty of time.
I appreciate you like always, young man. Again, plug your channel. That way everybody know where they can find you on social media and on YouTube. Go ahead, bro.
Gotcha, my man. Empire Sports Media on YouTube. JJSex24 on Twitter. I started to do nightly Met spaces. I was going to do one for the Yankees, but I decided to, build a few bridges back with a few Met fans that I had a little bit of trouble with. Oh, and the last thing I got to mention is you should have seen Yankee Stadium, not Yankee Stadium, Citi Field when they found out about the Mikal Bridges trade. A Let's Go Knicks chant started for 5 minutes. I'm so serious when I say that.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. JJ, my brother, appreciate you like always. Let's go Yankees. Let's go Mets. And I can't wait for the Knicks to come back so we can keep talking Knicks basketball. Shout out to my guy, JJ. So I'm going to bring in someone else to join us in the conversation. This is somebody that I've followed and I've known for the past few years. They do amazing work over there at the BX Sports Jedi. My guy, Austin Cruz. Austin, let me get a thumbs up. Let me know you're ready to rock out. All right, my guy, Austin, ready to go.
Yo, heck,
Austin,
really quick.
My guy. Oh, my fault, Dame. Go ahead, bro.
Really quick, I got to go. Chat, Grace, Hector, Austin, nice to meet you, brother. Rock out. And everybody have a great day. Do your thing. Let's go Yankees. We'll see you tonight.
Let's go Yankees. Damian, my brother, I appreciate you. Let me just switch this up real quick. Austin, my guy, what's good, bro? Hope all is well. Hope the family's doing good. How you doing, bro?
Doing well, surviving the heat in Florida. You were in Florida recently. You know how hot it is
Yeah.
right now.
Yes, it was ridiculous. It was crazy because I was in Florida when New York City was having a heat wave and it was like almost 100 degrees. So I went to Florida at the perfect time because it was hotter in New York than it was in Florida. But Austin, let's get your take on the Subway Series. Let's get your take on the team right now. Go ahead, bro. Floor is yours.
Subway Series, it was embarrassing. I mean, the games were blowouts. Let's be honest. I mean, outside of Judge and Soto and maybe Volpe for game one, the rest of the offense didn't do anything. It was bad. It's one thing if you lose competitive games like 4-3, 3-2, whatever. You can say, oh, okay, they're fighting, but yeah, these games were not that great. It sucks. It's the Subway Series as a New Yorker, or a Yankee fan. Period. You want to do well against the crosstown rival. And same with Met fans. I'm pretty sure JJ feels the same way, and all Met fans who are watching feel the same way. So, yeah, it was not great. But we got to move on. 4-game series in Toronto against the Blue Jays, who are struggling. So, hopefully, they can win 3 out of 4. Because the last 2 weeks the Yankees haven't played well, obviously, ever since that Dodgers series. But like I said, I'm concerned with the Yankees. Not too worried, but a little concerned. You have to be. I mean, they haven't played well. But baseball, we all know it can change like this, where we always get a bunch of victories, and next thing you know, they're playing well. And so hopefully Verdugo steps up, because Verdugo, he has not been, ever since that first game in Boston, he has not hit at all. And I know some people have mentioned it, but I think something we need to talk about more is Verdugo struggles, because Verdugo is like what's the term? Energizer bunny, where when he plays well, like the team has like a different confidence, swagger. He was one of the guys the Yankees brought in to change the culture. So I kind of hoping because I like Verdugo. I like his attitude, I like his approach, and I want him to do well, because I think when he does well, the Yankees are better offense, obviously, especially Stan's gone for what was it, Grace? Another 3 weeks, you said?
Yeah, 3 more weeks. Supposedly.
Yeah, 3 more weeks. So we need Verdugo to step up. And obviously, he's not got the power Giancarlo has, but still, at least get on base. I mean, more people be on base, the more opportunities they have to score, obviously. So Verdugo, and also I want to talk about Gleyber real quick, because I do like the fact that Gleyber's getting benched, because I think maybe this gives him time to reflect, and maybe he has a different mindset when he does play again, because especially considering he's in a contract year, and I thought he would have a good year. I think we all thought that at the beginning of the year Gleyber was going to go out there and have a fantastic year, but hasn't been so far. But hopefully when he comes back, I don't know when he's coming back, maybe Saturday or Sunday, who knows? Or Saturday or Sunday probably. Hopefully he goes out there and can produce and show everyone why he was an all-star, why that he's considered by some people one of the better second basemen in baseball. But we got to wait and see. I mean, Judge, you mentioned it, 30 home runs before July. Before July, this man has 30 home runs.
Yeah.
And almost RBIs too.
I know.
We're not even at the All-Star break. I think the season where he hit 62 home runs back in 2022, at the All-Star break, he was at 30 home runs, if I'm not mistaken. I just want to say a few shout-outs real quick. Shout out to Rara. Appreciate you being in the building. Rara says, peace out to the chat. Later, Hector. Rara, I appreciate you. And this is the question that I saw in the chat. Daniel Denny, first time I'm seeing you in the chat. Let us know if this is the first time you're there. They said, in my opinion, the Yankees are overrated, right? And when you look at the Yankees' record against teams that are under 500, we destroy teams that are under 500. Teams that are over 500, we're at 500 against them, right? So I get it. You got to beat the weaker teams in baseball. Erica made this point. In Major League Baseball, you win 60 games, you lose 60 games, and those other 40 games determine if you're going to go to the postseason or if you're going to go to the World Series. And that's a great way to look at it. So when you look at the Yankees, there's some truth to that. The Yankees being a little bit overrated, because when it comes to the Oakland Athletics, when it comes to the teams that are at the bottom of the barrel, it's not that far off of a take saying that we're good against those teams. But against the teams that we need to beat, like the Baltimore Orioles, we're struggling against them, right? I know we beat the Cleveland Guardians, but the Cleveland Guardians right now, they got the third best record in Major League Baseball. I mean, the second best record in Major League Baseball, and the Yankees are in third place, right? So on June 27th, yes, Juan Soto is having an amazing start to his Yankee career. Yes, Aaron Judge is having an amazing season. Anthony Volpe, an amazing sophomore season. But we can't just rely on the top 3 hitters. We need everybody else to step up. Because if we're just relying on the top 3 hitters, you're going to say that like 1/3 of our lineup is all we're going to carry, you're going to need more than just 1/3 of your lineup for 162 games. Go ahead, Grace.
I got two things to say. Sorry, y'all. I'm like, I keep clearing my throat, but sorry about
All
that.
good, all good.
I don't think that the Yankees' upside is overrated. And for a while, we were playing to that upside. Our pitching was absolutely lights out. Heel was in the Cy Young conversation as well as the Rookie of the Year conversation. Rodon was nails. Stroman was killing it. Schmidt was killing it. You know, and everybody was doing their job. And then we had Soto. We had Judge coming around. We had Verdugo raking. We had Stanton out of his mind, having a comeback year. I mean, it was crazy. They were all playing to the upside. I don't think that was overrated. But now we're not playing to our upside anymore. So I think, you know, that's what you have to consider when you consider how, you know, pundits and people are talking about the Yankees. They're probably talking about the upside of the Yankees. Now we've sustained several devastating injuries, including Jason Dominguez in the minor leagues, which a lot of non-Yankees fans don't even talk about or know about. But that injury was absolutely devastating. So it's not that often that a minor league injury can be so devastating on the major league squad, but that's the situation we're in regardless. But Austin, I wanted to say something to your point about Verdugo being an energy maker, an energy creator on the team, and how we're missing that lately because he's been in a slump. I think he's turned it around after he had the 2 hits last night, and he's going back to Toronto where he plays really well, and I hope so. I hope he's turned it around. But I wanted to ask you this question, and Hector too, and everybody. I was talking about this last night because I was having the same observation that you were having, where I was like, man, we got to get Verdugo going because he's like the spark of the squad and we need that energy. Everybody is like down and it looks depressing. It's like we had no hope, we had no life, and we got to get that back. And I'm like, damn, though, it's hard to have fun when you're losing, right? So it's like, this is the question I want to ask you and Hector. The philosophical question is, do you have to have fun to win, or do you have to win to have fun?
That's a solid question. Go ahead, Austin. I'll let you go first.
Do you need to win?
I'll put you on the spot.
Do you have to win to have fun, or do you have to have fun to win?
Damn. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to go back to, like, you know, the Jeter years of the Yankees when, you know, when it seemed like, well, they were always winning, but it didn't look like they were like, I mean, they had fun, I'm pretty sure, but it wasn't like they were like a fun, loose group compared, like, then 2009 comes, they were in Swisher and all those guys, and you could tell they were having a lot of fun on the field.
Right.
So, yeah, so it's like, man.
I know, it's a good question, right? It's like chicken or the egg, but I think it's important.
No. I think it's very important. One thing, you know, shout out to Cabrera as well, Oswaldo. When I was at the autograph signing with him out in Jersey, he had one message for the kids and for the parents, specifically more for the parents. He said, baseball is a hard sport, right? He's like, there's guys that they dedicate their entire life to make it to the major league level or make it into the minor leagues, and they don't make it. He said the number one thing to always worry about, it doesn't matter what level you play at, whether you're playing at T-ball, whether you're playing in little league, junior high school, college, or at the major leagues or minor league level. The one thing he always says is have fun. If you're out there having fun, you're going to be able to win. You're going to be able to look out for your teammates. So for me, I think in order for you to win, you need to be out there having fun, right? Yes, we want all of our players to be serious. We want you to take this with the utmost respect and take this very serious, right? Be out there, be a professional, but have fun, right? You got to be able to enjoy life in the moment, not afterwards, right? Derek Jeter talked about that in his documentary. If you haven't seen it, go ahead and watch it. Also, if you haven't played MLB The Show with Derek Jeter and his storyline, I advise you to go ahead, play it, or just watch the clips on YouTube. Derek Jeter talked about how in his career, he wished he was able to enjoy the moment more than he did. He said, as a player, I never enjoyed the moment. I was always thinking about what's our next goal. And he said, if there was one thing that I can change, I would rather just be able to enjoy my moments, like getting 3,000 hits, like winning a championship in 2009. Yes, we want you to come back and be prepared for the next season. But at the same time, enjoy what's in front of you right now.
It's hard because how do you inject that into a team that's getting the brakes beat off of them by their crosstown rivals or the Braves or the Dodgers or whoever you want to say? I mean, it's hard to have fun. And if they were on the bench laughing and hucking it up and everything, we'd be pissed. We'd be pissed. We'd be like, y'all are down 12 runs and you're laughing in the dugout. Not a good look. But at the same time, you gotta have fun to create the winning. Or do you believe that winning creates the fun? That's the philosophical kind of Schrodinger's, what is it called? Schrodinger's cat philosophical quandary there, because Boone has to get his team back to having fun. But how can he get them back to having fun if they're losing? But how can they stop losing if they're not having fun? Right? So it's this whole, problem. And I was just curious on your viewpoint.
No, it's a whole like mental like experiment, right? Like when I was in the JROTC, my colonel at the time, he would do a little brain experiment with us. He would always ask us, okay, just think of it like this. If the world and the universe we lived in, right, is there, if you remove that, what's there? If it's nothing, there's still something, right? Even though there's nothing in a white room, there's still something because it's still in a white room. So if those are little brain experiments, just a little brain twist that really have you thinking. But Austin, last question before I let you go, because I got mess to come up. Shout out to the chat as well. Appreciate all of you guys. Xavier T is in the building. My guy Johnny O'Neill, Desiree Conrad is in the building. The Save Situation, Erica Garcia is still watching us right now. Mark T Maker's in the building. Exactly, God is there. My guy R Cam is in the building. Eunice is in the building. First time Yankees played Orioles. I said the good teams would be the test for the Yankees. They have not passed that test, and I am not a fair weather fan. I'm just saying, listen, Eunice, we're right there with you. When it comes to the Yankees, the Lippman tests are beating the Baltimore Orioles, are beating the Seattle Mariners, the teams that are in first place at the moment. So 100% agree with you. But Austin, same question going your way. Trade deadline. What do you want this team to do? What's your game plan? How do you want to go about it? Go ahead.
Probably. Apologize if you hear like garbage truck in the background first and foremost, but
you good? We don't hear it.
Okay, good. Okay, but they need to get like like somebody in the first base or third base, like a true third baseman. The catching situation is obviously you got Trevino, but we all know his issues with throwing guys out. And I forget who it was. I think someone last week, might have been Damien last week, mentioned the Colorado catcher about team as a potential. I forget his name. I think it's Diaz. I believe his last name. I forget his name, but he's having like a solid year, and he's actually known for throwing guys out. That might be a potential trade option because everyone's talking about Ryan McMahon from the Colorado Rockies, but he's also someone that might throw out there. But at the same time, I do want Wells to get more playing time because I do think he, Cabrera especially, and Ben Rice should get playing time to see what we have in them. Well, more so Rice and Wells. Because, I mean, it's hard for them to get going if they're playing one game and then they're not playing and playing 2 games and they're out for 2 games. It's just, baseball players are creatures of rhythm. They need to get consistency or else they're not going to thrive, obviously. So it's like, but I do trust Cashman, even though I'm I have my issues with Cashman. I do trust him that he's going to do something this year. I'm dead confident that he's going to get somebody. It doesn't be massive. It can be just a regular, like a good player who fits a role that fills a hole of a void we need. So I mean, I think I would want to go after like third base and catcher and see if you can get anything. But I mean, I was gonna joke and say Vladimir Guerrero, but Toronto probably won't trade him. Unfortunately, they won't to the Yankees. I just hope he doesn't go to the Astros. Yeah. I hear reports that the Astros are trying to get him.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think that's a lot more likely.
A solid point, especially when you look at that catcher from Colorado. He does have good numbers. Somebody that I wanted, I'm pretty sure he was picked up by now, but he was DFA'd and he was released from the Marlins. Christian Betancourt as a backup catcher, just because his arm strength has always been top in the league when it comes to throwing guys out at second base. Austin, my guy, appreciate you like always. Make sure you guys go and follow Austin and his father Kev. They do amazing work over there on the BX Sports Jedi. Also Chef Dan as well. You guys do amazing work. Austin, let the people know where they can find you on social media and stuff.
BX Sports Jedi Network on YouTube and Rumble, and also on Twitter as well. And also, we just did a video yesterday with my dad and Chef Dan talking about the Knicks, about Mikal Bridges. I know you guys did. I saw your video, Hector. I know you're happy.
Yeah.
Everyone's happy.
Oh, yeah.
Nova Knicks. And definitely check out BX Sports Jedi on YouTube and Rumble and Twitter. But also check out Saturday. I'm doing a UFC watch along for UFC pay-per-view this Saturday at 9 o'clock. So if you're anybody into MMA, definitely can check on the channel at 9 o'clock. We're doing a live watch along where I break down the fights and explain what's and give who's going to win, etc. So thank you guys for having me on. Appreciate it.
Of course,
you guys,
Austin.
Thanks, Austin.
Appreciate
Thank
you
you
like
guys.
always. Just know you got an open door policy. Whenever you want to come up and talk with us lunatics, you're more than welcome to come up here, Brody.
Thank you guys. Have a good night.
Later, Austin. That's my guy, Austin. And yeah, he does do a good job over there on the BX Sports Jedi Network. When I first started doing this, because I got to bring up Metzi next. When I first started being in like the podcast spaces, I used to be with his father, Kev, all the time. It's just with our time differences, I can only do the mornings. Kev is working when I'm live, and Kev does his streams in the nighttime. But Kev does an amazing Yankees watch along. He does an amazing Knicks watch along. Austin does amazing when it comes to covering MMA and just boxing matches in general. They have great knowledge. So go give them a chance. Give them an opportunity if you're into the UFC and MMA and stuff. But we got Metzi backstage. My guy, Mets2128. He got the thumbs up. Mets, my guy, salute to you, bro. Sorry about all the different people. Everybody came in at the same time. But go ahead, bro. The floor is yours. Talk to the people.
As for my reactions to last night, bittersweet. On the one hand, Mets swept the Yankees. But on the other hand, I want to strangle Leon Rose for once again being an overkill, prodigal, and frivolous draft pick waster.
Okay,
Seriously,
copy.
This is like the third year in a row he's fleeced the team out of first-round draft picks. It's getting frustrating to the point. I don't care if he and Tibby are on good terms. I want this guy gone so we can at least salvage draft capital.
Copy. Grace, he's talking about the Knicks. If you didn't know, Grace, she's just a Yankee fan. She doesn't know Knicks basketball.
I do know something about the Villanova guy came and he's gonna play with James.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
there you go, Grace.
Thanks of more draft capital. I am sick of this guy not taking the risk on bringing in new meat that can play in the tip system and sticking to either, and I mean new meat as in fresh meat from the draft, as opposed to going after for free agency meat that's getting a little rotten.
All right, Metzi, going back to baseball, just because Anna Marie is lost in the chat as well. We got different people lost because we're Yankee fans, not Knicks fans. But I listen, Eddie Presti shares your frustration on that note. But we're talking about, the Subway Series, talking about your team. Last week, right, when I was on with the Mets guys from the Mets Evening Brew, the one thing I kept preaching to Met fans is the Mets are rolling. The Mets are winning. They got to get back to 500. And when you have that extra third wild card, let this be something you can build on for the future. Let it be momentum, because you have a lot of guys on your rosters who never been to the postseason. You want Alvarez to get a taste of the postseason. You want Vientos to get a taste of the postseason, so they can have that experience, build on that for next season and for the seasons to come. So what's your thoughts on that? The trade deadline, team at 500. What do you want your team to do in the direction of it, my guy?
Well, so far things have improved for the Mets. I mean, last month you caught me on a few Even Brew episodes. I was on the cusp of wanting to sentence Barnes and Hefner to death by hanging.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
I was seriously frustrated with how incompetent those two dipshits have been. But,
okay, language.
Sorry. But they turn it around, and now it seems like that aura of incompetency is now fallen onto the Yankees. What have they lost now? 10 of their last 14?
Yeah. 4 series in a row. Yeah. It's bad.
For the Yankees, where's the discipline at the plate? Where's the pitch command? Where's everything? I mean, Blue has been cast as a scapegoat, and with the exception of last year, he's at least gotten the team to the playoffs every single year. But that said, he can't rely on the heavy bats 24/7. Judge, Stanton, Soto, they can only do so much. I mean, if any piece they need to get rid of, it's Rizzo. He's pretty much slacked off. This is not the piece they got from Chicago.
Oh yeah, definitely. And it sucks because, you know, you never want to wish injuries on anyone, and you always want to see people bounce back from any type of crazy injuries. And Anthony Rizzo, listen, I'm wearing an Anthony Rizzo jersey right now. I brought an Anthony Rizzo jersey at spring training at Georgia and Steinbrenner Field because I told Frank Luna he's going to have a bounce back season. And then now again, he's struggling. So yeah, I agree with you. I think some Yankee fans agree with you as well. But Metsy, this month of July, you guys, you know, the New York Mets, the schedule favors you guys. You guys have to face only 2 teams that are over 500, and that's at the end of the season. Unless the Nationals get to 500, that would be the 3rd team. That's if they win over the next few weeks. But I want to ask you guys, is this sustainable? Is what you're seeing right now from the New York Mets, is this sustainable, or is just this smoke and mirrors, they got hot at the right time?
To be honest, I don't know, but I lean more towards the latter. I mean, 11 out of 13 since Grimace threw the first pitch. I mean, drop the Grimace hype, guys.
You don't like Grimace, bro? You don't like Purple Thing? You got something against Barney? That's what it is? You don't like Barney, Metsy, huh?
I mean, especially when you find out the truth behind the guy that originally played the character.
Yeah. Metsy, gonna let you go real quick. But let's trade deadline. Name one player you want your team to go out there to get, and we let you go. And then me and Grace got to wrap things up because it's about to be 1 o'clock.
As far as one player the Mets need to get rid of, it's McNeil. As far as who to get, I don't know. Maybe someone who's a much more competent second baseman that can actually rake in hits. That's not a short-term fix like Iglesias.
Okay. Copy. Metsy, my guy, appreciate you like always. Thank you for stopping by. That's my guy, Metsy. You could catch him joining the Mets Evening Brew. Also, you could catch him on the Lawrence Tears Network talking New York Knicks basketball if you guys are Knicks fans out there. Grace, what was your thoughts about this conversation? Erica says bye, Bobby Wallace. Go ahead. For those that are on Yankees Twitter, you guys know Bobby Wallace.
I think we had a great show today. We covered a lot of topics. There was a lot to talk about today, and that's exactly what I told you first thing this morning. I'm like, we have a lot to talk about today. So shout out to the chat for always being there, always contributing to the conversation and everything. And just know, chat, you know, if we ever have difference of opinions, that's okay. It's all love. We all love the Yankees. We all want to win, and you're allowed to have a different opinion on our show and our chat. And if you come up, you're welcome to come up and talk to us anytime, even if you have a different opinion than Hector or I have. So just know that it's all love here. But yeah, I think now that we've solved all the Yankees problems, we can move on to. Just kidding. I'm looking forward to this series this weekend. Yeah. I'm hoping and thinking it's going to be a get right series.
Oh yeah.
How? Same. Who knows? Because I have eternal hope for this team. I don't know.
Eunice was in the chat earlier. I meant to bring this up. They said, Hector, it's my 60th birthday. You was reading my post. Thank you. Go Yanks and win on my birthday. Eunice, happy birthday to you. Happy 60 times around the sun. Shout out to you. Hope all is well. Hope the Yankees could win for your birthday. And if there's anybody out there that has a birthday or know somebody that has a birthday, wish them happy birthday. It's almost the end of Mental Health Awareness Month for June 27th. So if you're out there, if you guys have any issues, if you guys have any problems, you guys can always reach out. You guys know I'm available on Twitter. I'm available on Instagram if you need to have a conversation. If you need any professional help, there is numbers out there for you to call just so you guys can get help. I just want to say shout out to my guy, Marky Teamaker, Austin Cruz for joining us on the open panel, Anna Marie for always being a beautiful, wonderful person in the chat. Anna Marie, hold on. This is one thing I do because Anna Marie, when Grace is up here, right? When Grace is up here in September, right? We are going to do karaoke. We are gonna go to K-Town in the city, and we are gonna go get a room, get a booth, and we are gonna do karaoke, Anna Marie. So Anna Marie, message me. We are going to make that happy. Grace, are you a karaoke fan?
Are you serious?
I didn't want to put you on the spot and just assume.
I love karaoke, but I'm one of those like annoying karaoke singers that like takes it serious. So like, I'm serious about it. I'm not gonna get drunk. I'm gonna like be having water, planning my next song, you know, cause I take it serious. I got like songs ready to, for real. In college, when I needed extra money, I would enter karaoke contests and I'd take it serious. So let's go. You want to karaoke with me? You want karaoke with me? Let's go.
I listen. I'm trying to do karaoke. Anybody? John O'Neill is like live stream the karaoke. Listen, John, if we could make it happen, we would make it happen.
That would be so funny.
Christopher said, "I have PMD." Is it P? You mean PMDD, Christopher? If you do, just know, I do understand. I do know that's like an endocrine disorder. If you do, but just know we are here. Just know that. Erica says every month is Mental Health Awareness Month. Absolutely appreciate all you guys in the building. What's your go-to karaoke song? Last question. The safe situation has to know.
I like to do Alicia Keys.
Okay.
I like
New
to
York?
do lots of her songs or Aretha Franklin songs. I like to sing like soul songs.
Copy. Well, I can't wait to go to karaoke. That's what I can't wait for September. But until next time, let's go Yankees. Say something positive about yourself. Drink some water. Stay hydrated. Don't be mean to people out there. And until next time, I'm Hector. This is my friend Grace Monroe, who I love to death. And deuces. Pink bye, Zeronis.